Hey there folks, Sparrows here, and yes, I am back in action. Today we're testing out a new series I've been wanting to explore for a while now, and that is theory crafting competitive Pokemon sets for pop culture characters. The Steven Universe saga just came to a conclusion, so I thought now would be a great time to launch this video. I'm not an artist, so unfortunately there won't be any crazy crossover art in this video, but if you're interested in game design, I think this is a series that you'll love. Today we'll just be focusing on the Crystal Gems, but I've got finished competitive sets for over 50 characters in this series. So if this video does well, I will finish the Steven Universe decks. So be sure to like, subscribe, and share this video if you want to see the whole Steven universe ported into this Pokemon. Steven universe, that's pretty funny. Okay, fair warning, you are going to see an obnoxious amount of rock types in this video. That's just the Steven Universe fandom. It's about a bunch of sentient space rocks. There's nothing really I can do about it. But I think with what we have, there still is a beautiful amount of variety. Let's get into this. So my main goal when designing the primary 3 Crystal Gems was to make them feel as close to Pokemon starters as this series would allow me to. To do this, I've given each one of them 530 base stat points, which is the same rough ballpark that most final stage starters get. And then to really drive this home, I gave them a Psychic Dark Fighting type triangle to mimic the Fire, Grass, Water one you usually see in games. I think all 3 characters could probably fit into a Rock Fighting type mold, but I'm very happy with giving them Rock Psychic, Rock Dark, and Rock Fighting individually, and I think the variety really works for these characters. So let's start with Garnet. She has the honor of keeping the Rock Fighting typing. My goal with Garnet was to create a strong physical attacker with respectable defense stats. She's the slowest of the Crystal Gem starters, but can still outspeed most Pokemon. Part of what makes Pokemon's battle system so deep is the varying types of abilities each Pokemon can have. So Garnet's basic abilities are Iron Fist and Guts. Iron Fist gives Garnet bonus damage to her punching attacks, such as Ice Punch or Drain Punch. Guts, on the other hand, represents her fiery fighting spirit, given to her by Ruby, one of the 2 gems that make up her fusion. When under a status condition, usually a burn, a Guts Pokemon's attack will be increased by 50%, which means bring on the heat for Garnet, she can take it. Garnet's hidden ability is Tinted Lens, which represents the psychic influence of the other half of her fusion Sapphire. And she also has those dope shades, so how could I resist? This ability is actually great, and usually only bug types get it, but what it does is it doubles the damage of attacks that are not very effective, which allows Garnet to bypass enemies that would otherwise wall her. Garnet's move pool features a variety of standard fighting moves, both fire and ice punches, thanks to Ruby and Sapphire of course, as well as Dragon Dance to get her groove going. One of her most notable additions includes Double Iron Bash. This is the signature steel move of Melmetal. It strikes twice, which is great for Breaking Substitute or Focus Sash, and it's supposed to reflect Garnet's signature gauntlets. Pearl is our next Crystal Gem starter, and she holds the Rock Psychic typing. She's primarily a physical attacker, but her special attack is nothing to laugh at, making her able to specialize in both, or she can serve as a great mixed attacker. Pearl's real strength lies in her base 120 speed, making her fast and deadly. These high offensive stats are at the cost of her defenses though, making her susceptible to priority attacks, particularly the deadly Sucker Punch, which is super effective against her. I think Pearl has some pretty fun abilities to play with, and I hope my bias towards preferring Pearl to all the other Crystal Gems isn't showing here. I love her, sorry. But her basic abilities include Limber and Dancer. Limber is fairly vanilla, I'll give you that, but it prevents her speed from being lowered by paralysis. Dancer, on the other hand, is a fantastic ability that allows her to mimic any dancing setup move another Pokemon uses. If you predict right, a Dancer Pearl can nab an opponent's Dragon or Swords Dance to boost herself up, and then she can sweep a whole team. I'm giving her Serene Grace as her hidden ability, which doubles the chances of secondary effects proccing when she attacks. Moves that Pearl can take advantage of with Serene Grace include the attack boosting steel move Meteor Mash, the special defense dropping Psychic or Flash Cannon, or the flinching Air Slash. Other interesting moves Pearl has access to include Psycho Cut for stab, U-turn, and Icicle Spear. To drive home her Dancer's motif, Pearl gets Quiver Dance to bolster her special attack focus sets, and Lunar Dance, which can be tacked onto her so that she can sacrifice herself and bring an ally back to full health from the brink of death. Lastly, for the Crystal Gem starters, we have Amethyst. Before I decided on a type triangle amongst these gems, it was hard for me to place her secondary typing. She loves wrestling, but she also has access to energy-based powers that can fall either into fire or electric typing, depending on how you see them. Ultimately, I stole a page from Incineroar and gave her dark typing, as she plays the role of a heel when she wrestles as the Purple Puma. Dark is also fitting considering she has the most impish personality amongst the other gems. Stat-wise, Amethyst isn't as specialized as the other gems. She's faster than Garnet, but slower than Pearl, and weaker than both of them, but her abilities and move pool make her really shine. Her primary abilities are Hustle and Own Tempo. Hustle boosts her attack strength, but it increases the chance that she'll miss, which is particularly risky because her strongest rock stab attacks already suffer from accuracy woes. Own Tempo prevents her from being affected by the Intimidate ability, as well as prevents her from being confused. This immunity obviously can be used defensively, but it allows her to use the powerful dragon move Outrage without worrying about crossing her own wires. Her hidden ability is Zoroark's signature ability Illusion, which allows Amethyst to disguise herself as another member of her party to trick the opposition. I felt like this was fitting for Amethyst, because while all gems can shapeshift, Amethyst does do it the most, and she's also notably used it as a psychological weapon against Greg when she transformed into Rose Quartz. For moves, Amethyst gets access to Stab Priority in Sucker Punch and Accelerock. Accelerock gives her a fast and accurate rock move to use with Hustle. These priority attacks, along with the speed boosting move Flame Charge and Rapid Spin, allow Amethyst to find a way to outspeed Pearl, making up for her being slower out the gate, but honoring her speedy fighting style. The support moves Yawn and Slack Off also honor Amethyst's personality, but for different reasons. Also, those energy attacks I was mentioning earlier get representation in Volt Switch, Fire Lash, and Wild Charge. These moves also give Amethyst great options to punish water and grass types that are trying to knock her out. Moving on to a newer addition to the Crystal Gems, we have Peridot. Peridot is Rock Steel thanks to her Ferrokinesis, and is the first Steven Universe character we're making that is special attack focused. Peridot runs on the slower end of the speed spectrum, but she has strong defenses to make up for it. That said, I will say 140 defense seems high, but Probopass has the same defense and typing as her, and it's hardly a threatening wall. That's why Peridot is not built to specialize as a wall, but has the bulk to support her while she sets up or even as she sweeps in Trick Room. Peridot has the ability to trap steel types from swapping out with the ability Magnet Pull. This gives her a chance to set up on an unsuspecting enemy. Her other base ability is Mega Launcher, which boosts the damage of her pulse moves like Dark Pulse, Aura Sphere, and Dragon Pulse. Peridot's hidden ability is Analytic. This ability shows off her hyper-intelligent nature and boosts any move Peridot uses if she moves second or if the opponent swaps out on her. Peridot benefits from Stab Flash Cannons, Power Gems, and Steel Beams, and has coverage in moves like Signal Beam, Thunderbolt, and Psyshock. She can also reinforce her defenses with Iron Defense and annoy opponents with Stealth Rocks. Or she can go on the offensive with Autonomize and Nasty Plot. Although, that said, all the gems I'm giving access to Rock Polish anyways, and that's just because I really thematically can't justify not giving it to them. But Autotomize will help Peridot eat low kicks. Lapis is up next, and she takes the role of a specially offensive wall breaker. It's notable that Lapis has a higher base total than any of the other Crystal Gems, and that's because she low-key is one of the most powerful characters on the show. To no one's surprise, Lapis is rock water typing. She has a sizable 130 special attack and is pretty fast, clocking in at a base 100. On top of that, all her defenses aren't the worst either. What really makes Lapis dangerous though is her ability Drizzle. This summons rain whenever she enters the battlefield. Not only will this let Lapis tank any fire attack she wants, but it also sends the damage of her Stab Surf or Hydro Pump through the roof. Lapis's second ability is Levitate. Thanks to her water wingies, she'll be able to dodge all sorts of ground attacks. Lastly, her hidden ability is No Guard. This represents her relationship and fighting strategy when it comes to Jasper. Competitively, No Guard lets Lapis sink Hydro Pumps or Stone Edges, and she never ever misses them. But it comes at a cost of never being able to dodge attacks herself. Aside of the standard rock and water move pool she'll get access to, Lapis can drop Hurricanes, Dark Pulses, Ice Beams, Mud Bombs, and Cosmic Powers. Or she can start setting up Calm Minds. And speaking of Jasper, let's imagine what she could do. Jasper is a wrecking ball, and she mirrors Garnet's rock fighting type. While she has very poor special defense, she sports a massive 140 attack stat and has nice survivability on the physical spectrum. She speed ties with Garnet, meaning in a 1v1, whoever gets lucky and moves first will likely score the killing knockout. Both of Jasper's base abilities center around moves that deal recoil damage to her. Reckless makes said moves more powerful, and Rockhead negates the recoil. These are great for representing Jasper's Rhino Charge fighting style. Jasper's hidden ability is Anger Point, which can max out her attack if she's hit by a critical hit. For her move pool, she gets access to strong fighting moves like Close Combat, but she also gets deadly coverage in Knockoff, Iron Head, and Stomping Tantrum. Her tech moves include Fake Out, Bulk Up, and Parting Shot. Next up, we have Bismuth. Bismuth rocks Rock Steel typing, as she's the Blacksmith of Little Homeworld. Because she's sort of the long-lost Green Ranger of the core group, she's also going to have 530 base stats. Bismuth has massive defense, which offsets her poor defensive typing, and allows her to function as a hazard setter and remover with moves like Stealth Rocks, Spikes, and Rapid Spin. As a real freedom fighter at heart, Bismuth's first ability is Defiant. This turns any stat drop she receives into an opportunity to increase her physical attack by 2 stages. Her other standard ability is Heat Proof, which reduces the damage she takes from fire-type attacks and also represents resistance to heat seen in the show. Her hidden ability gives her another defensive option in Filter. This reduces the damage she takes from super effective attacks, furthering her field presence as a tank. Like Garnet, Bismuth steals Melmetal's signature attack Double Iron Bash, and she even benefits from Stab with it. Her coverage moves include Thunder Punch, Drain Punch, Knockoff, Megahorn, Earthquake, and Body Press, which uses her massive defensive stat to her advantage. She also gets access to Tar Shot that makes enemies susceptible to her Fire Punch. And while we're on the topic of fire and Garnet, let's break down some stats for Ruby. Ruby is a rock fire type physical attacker. Although she is weaker than Garnet, she is faster, which accounts for her smaller size and acrobatic mobility. Like Garnet, Ruby can utilize the ability Iron Fist to dispatch enemies with strengthened punching attacks. More risky Rubies can also utilize Hustle to deal higher amounts of damage at the cost of their accuracy. Ruby's hidden ability is Anger Point. Rubies are known hotheads, particularly Steven's Nemesis Eyeball, and once again, Anger Point maxes out the physical attack of a Pokemon that is hit by a critical hit. She'll get access to Accelerock to use alongside Hustle. Fire Punch is her go-to stab move, but she can utilize Flame Charge or a variety of specially focused fire attacks. She also gets Beat Up, which is an homage to the Ruby Squad, Drain, Mock, and Power Up punches for her Iron Fist boosts, and she also gets Parting Shot to threaten your opponent while gaining some switch initiative. And obviously we can't talk about Ruby without talking about Sapphire. Sapphire's secondary typing could go a few ways. Either she's Rock Ice or Rock Psychic. Ultimately, I think her Psychic prowess is more notable, as her Ice powers are a little more latent and uncontrolled. What this does is makes her defenses actually stronger, but she can serve an interesting role in Hail-centric teams, as you'll see in a second. For her stats, she's a straight up special defense prodigy. Her special defense surpasses even Lapis's, thanks to her foresight, and her special attack is no joke either. Her speed isn't horrendous, but she does not enjoy taking even light hits on the physical side of things. Like Garnet, Sapphire sports the ability Tinted Lens, which tunes up her not very effective attacks to deal a bit more damage. She would also get access to Telepathy, which has no use in single battles, but does prevent her from taking friendly fire damage from area effect attacks in doubles. Her Icy powers do make an appearance with her hidden ability Snow Warning, which will summon Hail when she enters the battlefield. And with her Rock Psychic typing, she can add some much needed variety to Hail teams. Sapphire has a great deal of support moves, with Aurora Veil, Light Screen Reflect, Stealth Rocks, Haze, Calm Mind, and Wish for recovery. Her notable attacks include Psychic, Freeze Dry, Blizzard, and Surf. And now for the one you've been waiting for, Steven Universe. Obviously, the half-human, half-gem hero of this story fits perfectly into a normal rock typing. In terms of stats, I wanted to keep Steven weak on paper, but with crazy broken potential. To showcase his healing and shield powers, his defensive stats are his best, and his speed and attack stats are trash. That being said, normal rock is a very poor defensive typing, and Steven will get wrecked by any 4-time super effective fighting type hit. To mitigate this, Steven will get a few tricks up his sleeve. Steven's basic abilities are fairly run-of-the-mill. He'll get Natural Cure, an ability that heals him from status effects when swapped out. This of course represents his healing powers. And he also gets Vital Spirit to represent his heroic resolve, and this will prevent him from being put to sleep. The real kicker, however, will be his hidden ability Simple. Simple doubles the stat gains a Pokemon receives from buffing powers, and this will pair well with Steven's move pool, and it represents both his hidden potential and the carefree attitude of his younger days. Simple is bonkers when paired with Diancie's signature move Diamond Storm, which is a move that Steven gets access to thanks to him being the reincarnation of Pink Diamond. Diamond Storm has a chance to increase the defense of the user by 2 stages each time it is used. So a simple Steven has access to a move that'll do solid stab damage and boost his defense by 4 stages. Steven can also take advantage of Ancient Power, Power Up Punch, Rapid Spin, and Rock Polish. But the most overpowered addition to Steven's arsenal is the move Shell Smash. Shell Smash will sacrifice Steven's defenses to boost his speed and attack stats. Usually, Shell Smash is a game-winning move, but it becomes incredibly potent when it is doubled by Simple. Still, this will leave Steven open to priority attacks, particularly Mach Punch, which will bubble him. But that's not all we're giving Steven. To bolster his royal bloodline and defensive prowess, he gets access to the Advanced Protect move, Spiky Shield, and King's Shield. Spiky Shield does damage to anyone who makes contact with it, and King's Shield weakens the attack of any enemy trying to knock out Steven. But even with all of these bells and whistles, to truly capture Steven's unlocked potential, I had to go out of my way and give him a Mega Evolution. This obviously is represented by his pink diamond energy form that we see in Steven Universe Future. Like all Mega Evolutions, this adds 100 stat points to his base stat point total, and brings him up to 530 points. He obviously loses his normal typing and becomes Fairy Rock type. And this means his previous weakness to fighting type is neutralized. He does not like steel though. And truly the capstone of this Mega Evolution is the ability Moody, which not only represents his raging rock hormones and PTSD that we see in Steven Universe Future, but it also allows him to passively boost up and become unstoppable. If you're unaware, Moody causes the user to gain 2 power stages in a random stat and lose 1 stage in another at the end of every turn. So say you use a move like King Shield, and what this will allow Pink Steven to do is stall out turns while he accrues power from Moody. Truly, Pink Steven is a force to be reckoned with. I would go as far to say I made him broken, but I kinda love it. So there we have our first 10 Steven Universe characters as competitive Pokemon. If you want to see part 2 where I focus mostly on the Diamond Authority, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video. Let me know in the comments what sets you'd run for these Crystal Gems, or any other feedback you have for this series. It's brand new, so I'm sure there are a lot of problems for me to iron out. Also, if you're interested in seeing more competitive Pokemon battles, right now I'm coaching the New England Evolutions in the Eon World Trophy Tournament. And we've got a fun sand team that I'm excited to show you all in the next coming weeks. That said, until then, my name is Sparrows. Take care, all.